well-timed cough, huh? You're not supposed to turn my mic on until I actually come on camera. Oh, man, I had one last chance to clear my throat, and you all got to hear it live. Good morning, Danny. Rumble and X don't buffer today. You know, they might because our stream level, apparently, was pretty good, and so they let me go at a higher rate. So I don't know. I'm looking at it now, and it looks okay. Well, it doesn't look okay because my ugly face is up there, but we'll hope, okay? Let us pray. There you go. Thank you, God. All right. Hey, welcome to the Thursday edition of the J. Sheldon Show. What a way to get started, huh? Timing is everything, folks. Timing is everything. Big balls attackers get probation. Unfreaking believable, this justice system. War footage that will blow your mind. Video games have become reality games. This is scary stuff. And what will $10 get you at Jimmy John's? Now, we don't have a Jimmy John's here. I have no idea what it is. If you know Jimmy John's, tell me about it in the chat, because I don't know. I'm assuming it's some sort of fast food sort of restaurant. But what you get for $10 is a joke. Happy Thursday. Welcome in. We got a lot going on, and we're going to start it right off here with the story. Apparently, the new era of law and order in Washington has not penetrated the highly corrupt court system. The attackers who literally almost killed a Doge employee, bloody assault, spurred Donald Trump's federalization of the police force there, got probation. Probation. The attackers were minors, true. Who gives a crap? Minors can still beat the hell out of somebody and they can still kill them. That doesn't alleviate how severe this attack was. I will show you pictures you will not want to see. This man was tortured. Edward Korestein, otherwise known affectionately as Big Balls. You'd think at least a little time in juvenile jail might be appropriate? No. The D.C. court system is way too pro-crime for that. Pro-crime and anti-Trump. Now, if only the attackers had been January 6th protesters who ambled peacefully through the Capitol, they would have gotten years in prison, in a federal lockup. At the time of this attack, Korestein, who, by the way, himself is still a teenager, he attempted to defend a woman from a carjacking. I don't know if you remember the details of this story, but he was then attacked by these juveniles. They were arrested. Others in the attack apparently got away, and they took Korestein's iPhone. He was there for the sentencing via video. I hope you can figure things out and be ready for the consequences, he told his attackers. During his time in the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, of course, he sustained a concussion and a broken nose after being mobbed by 10 attackers. The image of him collapsed on the pavement with his bloody face. Huge outrage. Where is that shot? Yeah, here you go. Take a look. This is what they did to this poor kid. On the left. On the right is his normal look. Look at that. Blood everywhere. Broken face. Man, that is... Absolutely horrific. And for that, they got freaking probation. And they didn't reveal the kids' names. Never been revealed. They're doing everything they can to protect these mobster, criminal, moron, idiotic youth, scum of the earth, from any permanent ill consequences. Look what they did to this kid. And for that, you get probation. The 15-year-old, 12 months probation. 15-year-old girl pled guilty to simple assault. She'll serve 9 months probation. That's it, 9 months. Her lawyer had asked for 4.5 months. Both of the teens have been ordered not to contact each other. Yeah, that's going to do a lot of freaking good. Or spend any time in the district outside of school, job, or family obligations, which pretty much covers everything. Oh, my mom needed some milk. I just had to run to the 7-Eleven here. Please. Idiots. These kids are not being punished. They're being coddled. They're being told, oh, it's okay that you beat the absolute living shit out of some innocent guy who was, by the way, remember, trying to save a woman from a carjacking. He stepped out of his safety zone and went to aid this woman who was being carjacked. And that's what they did to him, this mob attack. What about the other 8 juveniles? Well, guess what? We don't know who they are. Any efforts to hunt them down? Hold them accountable? Apparently, they've been much more interested, authorities, in expressing their empathy for the criminals than in actually deterring any future crimes or looking for the other possible defendants. They've done abso-freaking-lutely nothing. Which, by the way, is exactly what you would expect from a Democrat city. So there you go. Probation for all these absolute criminals. We need to toss this entire freaking justice system out and replace it with, I don't know, one that has at least a half a brain. Nuts. Danny says, don't feel bad. I was watching Haley on Bongino Report. Oh, she's very good, by the way. I watch her, too. For 2 days, she got a tickle in her throat and had a full-blown coughing fit. There have been times where I've been talking and leading up to a video, and I've just had this thing hanging out in here just waiting to make me cough. And I'm like, it's in my head, I'm going, it's okay, Jay. Just get through the intro bit. Get to the video, you can shut off your mic and cough to your heart. It happens all the time. All the time. Which is why a sip of Blackout coffee is never a bad idea. Speaking of which, why don't we tell you a little bit about the good folks at Blackout Coffee. Coffee. The process is what makes it so unique, folks. Everything they do is in-house, and you can feel good about making a purchase over there because they are an American company. They care about this country, our values. They hugely support our military with free coffee sent over there to the active war zones, and even our bases here in the U.S. They're always pumping in a bunch of Blackout coffee for the men and women of the military. And like I said, everything, they work with American farmers, local co-ops, growing the best beans. They use only premium beans in their grinds and roasted beans. Head over to the link. It's in our show notes. Be sure you use that link so we get credit for your visit, of course. And order yourself a single bag if you're a first-time customer. Try it. Pick out what you think would be your favorite roast. If you really love hugely strong, never bitter coffee, mine is the rich dark espresso. I think that's what it's called. It's fantastic. I drink it. I drink it 24 hours a day, actually. Oh, man. Blackout Coffee. Use the link in our show notes. First-time customers, J20, JAY20 is the code for you to get 20% off your first order, which is another great deal from Blackout Coffee. And the best deal of all is knowing that you're supporting a company that supports our values. America first. Thank you, Blackout Coffee. John Santos and the gang over there, fantastic group of people to work with, and they make really the best coffee on the planet. I will be, once this show is dead and gone, or I am, well, not me, but I'll still be drinking this coffee forever because it's just that good. All right. And apparently Danny loves Jimmy John's. Good. Somebody knows about it because we don't have it here. I don't know anything about it. She says it's a Subway-type shop, but way better. Their bread is absolutely delicious, and their produce is so fresh. All right. So it's kind of like a Subway sandwich. You know a sub? Well, the report I got doesn't speak too well for Jimmy John's. We got that coming up. All right. Katanji, want to get this idiot's name right, Brown Jackson has proved once again she's not qualified to be sitting on the Supreme Court. This one's incredible. In her oral arguments before the Supreme Court today, Louisiana versus Calais, Justice Brown Jackson, the newest member of the court, by the way, if you didn't know that, appointed by Biden, of course, drew a ridiculous comparison between black voters being unable to form a majority black district and people with disabilities being unable to enter buildings before the passage of the Americans with Disability Act. So, black people who can't form a majority black district and Americans with disabilities. And she's comparing the two. Now, this was first argued back in March, challenging whether Louisiana's 2024 congressional maps, which made a second majority black district, crossed the line into unconstitutional racial gerrymandering, which pretty much it was. That is illegal under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. That ruling could reshape how all states interpret and apply Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act in the next round of redistricting. Here's what this moron should never be a Supreme Court justice said. It gets a little deep, but bear with me. A kind of paradigmatic, dogmatic example of this ADA, of this is the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disability Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. And so it was discriminatory, in effect, because these folks weren't able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. So, she says, I guess I don't understand why that's not happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we're responding to current-day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voter system. Those are exactly her words. Now, tearing this apart is a piece of cake. The most shocking of which is the Voting Rights Act is actually meant explicitly to deal with international racial discrimination. Intentional racial discrimination. In voting, not unintentional like the ADA does. You're equating racial representation with physical accessibility. What? Jackson implies political systems have to be engineered to produce proportional results. It doesn't matter what your intent are, what the constitutional limits are. Now, if a court embraces that kind of logic, it'd mark a departure from the allegedly colorblind equal protection towards a vision of perpetual race balancing. You treat race not as a barrier to overcome, but a basis for government design. Now, thankfully, with a conservative majority on the Supreme Court, we will not have to worry about this absurd, bizarre logic of Justice Jackson. Man, just why? Why is it, who voted to approve this woman to be on the Supreme Court? She has absolutely no business in being there. She is a moron. And I don't use that word. Oh, yes, I do. I call about everybody I disagree with a moron, because they are. Holy crap, look at this one. FBI Director Kash Patel announced the location of 5,400 children victims of crimes, criminals. He says the FBI has found and located 5,400 children. That's 30% increase year to date over the last admin, but again, it's not a baseball game. Unbelievable. 5,400 children. Kash has unleashed the federal police for the good. Violent crimes against children's arrests up 10%. Amazing overall crime crackdown stats. In 3 months, you've had 8,700 arrests of violent criminals, 2,200 firearms seized, taken off the streets permanently so our communities are more safe. 2,200. 421 kilograms of fentanyl's been seized. And to put that in perspective, 421 kilograms of fentanyl is enough to kill 55 million Americans alone. That's a big number. 2,100 indictments in 3 months from June to September. That in and of itself would have been a historic record for any administration. In 7 months, that's what you've accomplished. It can only get better from here, my friends. This number is historic by every metric. 28,000 people have been arrested. Those are violent, those are just the violent felons. 28,000. Keep it up, Kash.
A 3-month span, you had 8,700 arrests of violent criminals. You had 2,200 firearms seized off the streets permanently to safeguard our communities. You had 421 kilograms of fentanyl seized. Just to put that in perspective, That's enough to kill 55 million Americans alone. You had 45,000 kilograms of cocaine seized, and thanks to our Department of Justice partners, you had 2,100 indictments in 3 months, from June to September alone. Mr. President, that in and of itself would be historic for a 4-year presidency. You did that in 7 months because you let good cops be cops, and you partnered us with the right people at the Department of Justice to put the handcuffs on and bring them to court and put them in prison. And if that weren't enough, when you look at the year, for the entire 7-month period that we're talking about here, if you look at the past 4 years of the Biden administration, 16,000, 17,000, 15,000, 15,000. That's the number of arrests year over year of violent felons in this country for the Biden administration. Mr. President, in 7 months, you have 28,600 arrests of violent felons in just 7 months alone because of your leadership and the dedication of the men and women at the FBI who want to go out there and do the job they were prevented from doing because that department used to be weaponized and politicized. And this is what happens when you take out the fangs of weaponization. This number is historic by every metric. 28,000 people have been arrested, violent felons alone. And then when you go over there and look at some of these charts, if you don't mind, I'll just hop over here. Look at the metrics for not just violent crime, but the homeland. Mr. President, during your administration, the FBI has found and located 5,400 children. That is a 30% increase year to date over the last administration. Violent crimes against children arrests alone are up 10%. Gang arrests are up 210% in the last 7 months alone. And transnational organized crime, which Stephen Miller has been a great partner in, is up over 12% alone. These numbers are historic just as a snapshot. But just so people don't think we're focusing on violent crime alone, the national security mission, Mr. President, under your leadership has never been stronger.
Never been stronger. That's what we love about these guys. Look, I'm not stupidly blind to this. There are still a lot of problems with the FBI. Cash, Dan Bongino having a hell of a time digging out all the dirt in the cracks and throwing it out. They're getting to it. But there is still a mess in that FBI. And I'm sure if they could just dig it all up and start from the ground floor again, it would be better. But they cannot do it that way. They've got to pick and choose. But they're getting there. They are getting there. Marilyn, hello, welcome in. Praise the Lord. Just put quite a disgusting piece on perverts for you both on Messenger, right in Danbury, Connecticut. I will look at it after the show, and maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. All right. Thank you for that, my dear. Hey, what else has happened? Oh, man. Wait till you see this. Whoa. You know, we're always making fun of these guys who sit in their mommy's basement playing video games all day and, the meatloaf, you know, that kind of thing. Apparently, these guys, and probably a few gals, we're not far off from getting really well-rehearsed playing, you know, these games. I don't even know the names of some of these war games videos that they play. I'm going to play for you a piece of video that for all the world looks like anything you have ever seen of a video game. But this footage is not a video game. Thanks to something called the Eagle Eye Connection. This technology lets our troops in America command and control unmanned systems and call for shooting, through a heads-up, hands-free display. This is the future of warfare, my friends, and this is scary. Take a look at this. Is not a video game. This is real. This is the heads-up display that this soldier is working through. Take a look at this.
Bravo Alpha, RP grid set. Over.
Alpha, Bravo. RP received and marked. I'm Oscar Mike.
Identified the target, the distance. Now you'll see on the radar it's marked in red there. Again, folks, not a video game, real life. Threat defeated. And he did not pull a trigger. That was not, he wasn't pulling a trigger. That was simply looking at and activating this dart to be released. And then, boom, target eliminated. Folks, wow. Again, it's beyond me that that is not a video game. That is absolutely incredible. And this all comes in their face-up helmet, heads-up helmet. Next level warfare, folks. If that's what we're dealing with, let's hope the enemy doesn't have anything better. I can't see how they possibly could, but man, that shocked the hell out of me. A cashback in the news for another story. He says, more indictments are coming. We're not done. And hallelujah for that. He confirmed that more indictments are on the way following countless leads on criminal activity by those in power. Real America's Voice. Here's what they had to say.
Beyond those who are already charged, do you think you've seen other crimes that might eventually get referred to justice?
Yes, we are looking at so many different leads on criminal activity by those who are in positions of power. And we're not going to stop until every single one of those is fully exposed. The documents are provided either to Congress or the courts of law, and make every referral we can into the Department of Justice. These indictments that you've seen and the ones that you're going to see coming up here in this near future are just the beginning. But I have to remind the audience one thing. Everybody's like, it's 7 months. What have you guys been doing?
Yeah.
Well, they spent 20 years building this disease temple of corruption. It takes a little bit of time to defeat it and beat it down. And I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to look at the work the men and women of the FBI have done so far in these 7-8 months and just imagine what we're going to do come the year end.
He's exactly right. They've had 20 years building this crap up. In 7 months, they're already starting to tear it down pretty effectively. John Bolton hopefully will be one of the next. And while that is a huge part of the deep state, I'm sure, it is by far not the entire operation. It's just that Bolton is certainly involved in that. And yes, as Danny said, what happened with Obama, looking into him, any news, nothing's come out yet, but I'm for sure he's on the list. He's got to be on that list, I think because of who it is. They've just got to make sure they have an absolutely 1,000% airtight case before they actually indict the man. But in my heart of hearts, I got to believe, I mean, how can he not be on the list? More and more evidence coming out every single day that this man was intimately involved, if not completely in charge, of all of this mess. All the spying, all the lies, all the misinformation, disinformation. So anyway, these indictments, more are coming. And like I said, I am 120% sure Obama's got to be on that list somewhere. There just is no doubt about it. The wonderful world of going woke. Well, the fallout is continuing. From going woke, massive layoffs at yet another news giant. And honestly, we could not possibly be more excited about the idea. What an incredible week this has been. First, Trump flew to the Middle East, take part in the Gaza-Israel peace deal. And now there's news that the giant NBC News is ready to cut its news department staff. Seems like a small matter. It is not, my friends. Over the last few years, it was retail outlets, really, that have learned the hard lesson of going woke and going broke. They decided to ignore their customers, pushing gender ideology and DEI instead of just giving the customers what they want. Oh, there's an idea. Among leading right outlets, it's simply become known, as we said, as go woke, go broke. Now, despite all the warning signs, these idiots at legacy media continue to embrace the leftist radical ideologies, force them on their audiences, and their audience said, "We're not interested." Click, change the channel. The fallout from doing this has hit NBC News so hard, they have announced massive layoffs. 150 jobs have been cut ahead of the Versant split. Took place Wednesday this week. NBC News, following the separation of MSNBC and CNBC from NBC News, part of the Versant spinoff of their parent company Comcast. Cuts were driven by the fact that NBC News will no longer be providing news gathering capabilities for CNBC and MSNBC, and broader concerns about the overall economic environment for the media sector. That means go woke, go broke, basically. You keep feeding us this crap, and we're going to keep walking away from you because we are smart. We have learned. THR reporting that the cuts took place across all the news groups. And another report said the departments affected, including DEI divisions and the LGBTQ ones, among others. Good. Painful layoffs? Bye-bye. And not just NBC, by the way. CBS has done the same thing, with apparently more to come. Variety magazine reports those who were laid off will be encouraged to endure the demeaning process of applying for new roles at the network that's letting them go. You're fired. Okay, well, could I have this job instead, please? Goodbye, get out. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Idiots. I swear. Hey, here's another one. Oh, man, this is from a TikTok. I hate TikTok. Hate. Please, if you, or most especially if your kids are on that Chinese spyware app, please get them off. I know they're going to scream and yell and cry and moan and stamp their feet. Hopefully they won't go as crazy as the video footage we showed you a week or two ago, where this kid destroyed his mother's complete house because she took away his iPhone. But please, honest to God, get your kids off that platform. It is nothing but pornography and mind-altering bullshit. Get a load of this moron. Katie Edwards, medical director at the Annapolis Pediatrics Unit in Maryland. She says she follows the science and the facts in order to treat children, all of which while she wears a transgender support pin. How can you follow the science and the facts if you think a boy can become a girl and a girl can become a boy? Listen to this complete moron.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katie Edwards, and I'm the medical director here at Annapolis Pediatrics. This has become a pretty confusing time for us, certainly as pediatricians and nurse practitioners, but also most certainly for you as families, as patients, and just as people of the world. I think generally we would like to just reassure you that we will continue to make every attempt to be a trusted source for our patients and families. This is a time when we don't need myth and misinformation. We need science and fact. And I want to reassure you that all of us here at Annapolis Pediatrics take our position very seriously and do our best to educate ourselves ongoing about what is helpful to our families, what is harmful to our families, and we follow the recommendations of the American Academy of Pediatrics, which does us the favor of sorting through data all the time in order to come up with the best recommendations. We've been doing this here at Annapolis Pediatrics for well over a generation. Just today, I saw a family with a parent who had been patients of mine earlier on. So we'd like you to continue to have that trust in us, and we will do our best for you.
Yeah, I'm afraid your best ain't exactly gonna cut it, lady. She is the medical director at Annapolis Pediatrics in Maryland. She strongly believes that a boy can be a girl and a girl can be a boy. Likely believes in subscribing all these poisonous medications for transitioning. Likely thinks it's brilliant to surgically and irreversibly mutilate our young kids. Danny says she's right about one thing. This is most definitely a confusing time in the world. Hard to tell who's a boy, who's a girl. Not really. Here's what you do. You reach down, and you open up your pants, and if there's a little ding-dong in there, you're a boy. And even if somebody cuts it off, you're still a boy. If there isn't, you're a girl. And even if somebody adds one on, you're still a girl. See, there you go. Science Class 101 by J. Sheldon. Thank you very much. Payments can be made on your way out the door. Hey, who provides your mobile service? Is it Patriot Mobile? Well, why the hell not?
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
PatriotMobile.com/J, J-A-Y. That's all you need. That's the link. Like they said, you keep your phone. You keep your phone number. There is no surface changes, and nothing at all changes except you are giving your money to a company that does not spend any of its money, any of its profits, any of your money you're paying them to support these leftist ideology companies, these DEI operations. Anybody who puts America last, not interested. This is America's only Christian conservative mobile provider, and you really need to make that switch and help support this company. They are fantastic. Again, PatriotMobile.com/J, J-A-Y. If you forget, the link is obviously right there on the top of our show notes. Check them out. Get signed up. Their customer service folks are there to help you and put you in the right plan, not to upsell you, make you spend money you don't need. That is not their job. patriotmobile.com/J. Please give it a try. We've had plenty of our viewers go over there and our listeners and get switched, and they report back couldn't have been easier. Love the service. All right. Patriot Mobile, thank you, folks, for popping by and helping to support the show. We are very, 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 very proud to partner with you guys. Jimmy John's. Apparently, we don't have them here, but apparently it's like a Subway sandwich shop, which is cool. I would love to try an alternative. One of the more difficult things it is to find around here, in addition to a really good grinder, we used to call them in Connecticut. We called subs grinders. And yes, Carbone's made the best grinder on the planet from Torrington, Connecticut. So there you go. Are they still in business? Are they still making grinders? I have no idea. Man, if they are, could you ship? Do you think you could ship one over here? Nah, it would be gone by the time it made it here, if it made it. I missed that. Anyway, the other thing impossible to find, by the way, we'll get to Jimmy John's in a second. The other thing impossible to find is a calzone. I love calzone. I'm a big fan of pizza for sure. And I know people say, oh, just take your pizza and fold it in half. No, not the same. Calzones, well-made Italian calzones, mwah, could not be better. I've been here 22, 23 years. Still, yes, hadn't found a decent, real calzone. I found one. Now, I paid out the butt for it. Damn, it was very expensive. But once in a great while, just to get reminded of the good old days of a good calzone, I have to order one because it's just exactly the same as just what a calzone should be. All right. Denny says some of these trends are hard to tell which way they are transitioning. I just had that thought the other day. I was watching a video on, I don't know, X or something, and here is this creature, blue hair, nose ring, eyeshadow, and I'm thinking, wait, is this a girl trying to be a boy or a boy trying to be a girl? I had exactly the same thought. Oh, to calzones, she says, Marilyn says, to carbones rather, no more. It's Cleveland Country Kitchen now. They're quite good, but not the same. Oh, well, a tip of the hat to the former Carbones Market. What a legend. Okay, I've been putting it off long enough. What is $10 going to get you at Jimmy John's? Now, Danny says, great place. Food is excellent. Everything's fresh. She absolutely loves the place. But this didn't turn out so well for this one particular user who got herself $10 worth at Jimmy John's. Take a look.
I can't even believe this.
$10 Jimmy John's sandwich.
Oh, no way.
Wow. That roast beef looks
No
good.
fucking way. Go get me my money back. There's no way. Dylan.
Just call into their corporate line. They're not going to go give you your money back.
I'm appalled. Fine, I'll eat it. But I'm very upset about this.
$10 for that? Now, to be honest, the roast beef looked delicious. Was that salami also? And the cheese looked like maybe a Gouda or mozzarella, something like that? It looked like the ingredients were very tasty, but the lack of amounts and the size, that's like half the size of a Subway sandwich. $10 for that. What the hell? Come on, Jimmy John's. Get in gear, stupid. I'm amazed. I mean, maybe it tastes good, but it tastes good in very small little quantities. Not a good idea. SpaceX, we've done it again. Was it one small step or one giant leap? 6:23 p.m. local time, 8 minutes late, but who cares? The most powerful rocket in history launched in a column of flames from the Starbase, Texas, delivering its second stage to a hot separation, and then minutes later made a perfect water landing in the Gulf of America. Man, Elon, amazing. There is no other word. Even before the first super heavy stage had successfully completed its part of this integrated flight test 11, the ship's second stage 6 engines moved it to near orbital velocity, initiating a series of flight deployments, engine tests, and then made its own water landing half a world away in the Indian Ocean. Starship's 11th flight test reached every objective, provided valuable data as they get ready for the next generation of starships and Super Heavy. Musk shared an amazing video of the booster's return, along with a little context. The rocket came back from space, he wrote, at hypersonic speed and then hovered into a precise position. Hang on just a quick second and I will show you that video. The hovering above the Indian Ocean looks absolutely incredible, amazing. And by the way, yes, the explosion at the end was not a surprise. It was expected.
The Margaritaville Hotel has a better view, but that is a successful boost landing burn ignition. And we seem to have down selected
all 13
now,
engines
slowing
lit
down.
up.
Wonderful news. We're going to see that hover over the Gulf and then a shutdown of those Raptor engines. There's the hover.
It's with
and
3
here
engines
shutdown.
there. Wow.
Whoa. That's an incredible shot. Here comes an explosion.
Boom.
As advertised. and there is your rad, because that was planned, everybody.
That was planned. They knew that explosion was going to happen. Holy crap. We're there, folks. Mars is next, and beyond that, who knows? What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Crazy. All right. What's up with the defending? Oh, Danny. No way they must have messed up her order. They're much bigger than that. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Again, that video was posted on TikTok, so who knows? TikTok is full of a bunch of crap. I just thought I'd put it in there and poke the bear and see what the truth might be. So hopefully, Danny, you're right. And I have no reason to doubt you that they just simply messed up. That is not what a normal order at Jimmy John's looks like. So, fat retard ready for war. That's the headline. Because I think I'm going to do a whole news segment. I see these things all the time, and it pisses me off. These people who obviously have absolutely no testicles at all, whether real or imagined, just to cover my bases, saying that I'm ready to go to war against conservatives. We're ready to fight back against the U.S. military and King Trump. Well, this fat retard, that's my new name for them, obviously with his little sparkly glasses, about what, maybe 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight, and could really use a little sunshine in his life. Take a look at what this fat retard has to say, and listen to the challenge he's making. Some soldier in black fatigues with a helmet on turns around and goes, "Boo." And trust me, it would look like a UFO taking off in a millisecond. Pew! and he'd be gone.
You do realize that if an American president uses the American military on American citizens on American soil, he's declaring war on the American people. You understand that, right? And if Trump does that, if Trump uses the American military on American citizens on American soil, the American people will fight back against him. We'll have no choice but to fight back against him.
What is this we, fatso? And by the way, comb your hair, okay? Fat retard. Can we say retard now? I don't really give a crap. I'm saying it anyway because that's exactly what he is. Like I said, the first sign of any aggression towards him, and it would be some girly high-pitched scream, and he would be running in the other direction as fast as his fat little thighs flapping together could possibly carry him. Pew. Don't hurt me, don't hurt me. Comb your hair. I'm done, we're done, we're all done. That's it. Hey, don't forget our locals channel, please get signed up. Yeah, I can smell them from here. You're right. Our locals channel, go over there, subscribe. It's a little bit of money, but it's hardly anything, like $5 a month, and you get to help support this show. It really, really does count. I know you folks who show up here every day and you're watching, and I appreciate that more than, honestly, you are in my heart. From my heart, thank you. And if you just want to take that extra step and support this show, head to our locals channel. Get signed. You can make a one-time donation if you want, $20, $50, $100, $500. I would love you forever and ever. Or you can just sign up for the subscription service at $5 a month, which is like nothing. You waste more than that in a day usually, and it helps the show. You get access to our new show, which I'm going to be recording one very shortly here, called The After Hours. So we got some stuff in there we don't put on our normal show, or at least maybe not yet. We don't cover it while we do the extra research to find out what the bottom line is. And it's an interesting little take. We're a little more loose, a little more vulgar, but there you go. Locals, check it out. Red button is down there on Rumble, on X, and our live show in the show notes. You'll see the link up there towards the top of the show notes. And thank you. We appreciate that. All right, we're done. We're cooked. We're out of here. Coming up next, it's the Friday edition, and we'll be here at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning to bring you all the latest and the baddest and the fat retards.